What is absolute advantage? Absolute advantage is the ability of a person, company, region, or country to produce a greater quantity of a good or service with the same quantity of inputs per unit of time, or to produce the same quantity of a good or service per unit of time utilizing a lesser quantity of inputs than another entity that produces the same good or service. An entity with absolute advantage can produce a service or product at a lower absolute cost per unit utilizing a smaller number of inputs or a much more efficient process than another entity producing the same good or service. Understanding absolute advantage. The concept of absolute advantage was developed by Adam Smith in his book The Wealth of Nations to show how nations can earn from trade by specializing in producing and exporting the goods which they can produce more efficiently than others' nations. Countries with an absolute advantage may decide to specialize in producing and selling a particular good or service and use the funds that good or service generates to buy goods and services from others' nations. By Smith's arguments, specializing in the products that they each have an absolute advantage in and after that trading the products, could make all nations better off, so long as they each have a minimum of one product for which they hold an absolute advantage over others' countries. Absolute advantage versus comparative advantage. Total advantage can be contrasted to relative advantage, and that's when a manufacturer has a lower opportunity cost to generate a good or service compared to another producer. Total benefit leads to unambiguous gains from specialization and trade only in cases where every manufacturer has an absolute advantage in producing some good. If a manufacturer lacks any complete benefit, then Adam Smith's argument wouldn't always apply. On the other hand, the manufacturer and its trading partners may still be capable to realize gains from trade if they could concentrate based on their respective comparative advantages instead. Example of absolute advantage. Consider two hypothetical nations, Atlantica and Krasnovia, with equivalent population and resource endowments, with each generating two products, guns and bacon. Every year, Atlantica can produce either 12 guns or 6 slabs of bacon, while Krasnovia can produce either 6 guns or 12 liters of bacon. Each nation requires a minimum of 4 guns and 4 bacon slices to survive. In a state of autarky, making solely on their very own for their very own needs, Atlantica can spend 1/3 of the year making guns and 2/3 of the year making bacon, for a total of 4 guns and 4 slabs of bacon. Krasnovia can spend 1/3 of the year making bacon and 2/3 making guns to generate the same, 4 guns and 4 slabs of bacon. This leaves every nation at the edge of survival, with hardly enough guns and bacon to get around. But notice that Atlantica has an absolute advantage in producing guns and Krasnovia has an absolute advantage in producing bacon. Total advantage also explains why it is sensible for people, businesses, and nations to trade. Since each has advantages in producing particular products and services, the two things can benefit from trade. If every nation were to specialize in their complete advantage, Atlantica can make 12 guns and no bacon at a year, while Krasnovia makes no guns and 12 slabs of bacon. By focusing, the two nations divide the tasks of their labor between them. Should they then trade 6 guns for 6 slabs of bacon, every nation could then have 6. Both nations would be better than before, because each might have 6 guns and 6 slabs of bacon, like compared to 4 of every good they can produce on their own. This mutual gain from trade forms the basis of Adam Smith's argument that specialty, the division of labor, and subsequent trade lead to a general increase of wealth from which everyone can benefit. This, Smith believed, was the origin of the eponymous Wealth of Nations.